All right. Good boy, Mixie. Good boy. All right. Let's rock and roll. Hello and welcome into the Section 109 podcast from Studio Breezy. It's Matthew, Mix, Bobble Juan, and we're ready to talk about CFC women's touchdown against Birmingham. Matthew, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Seven goals.
This was a good way to start a doubleheader. It was going to be a really long day. It was always going to be a really long day, and to start that with 7 goals. Oh, Mixie, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Easy.
It's okay, man.
Allergies are bad for dogs, too. Matthew, give me your first thoughts before we get into the lineups and the goals and the whatever else.
First thoughts on the Birmingham game?
Yeah, what was your emotional reaction first and foremost, going in and then coming out?
Well, we knew they were going to be bad. Just like straight up. We knew they were going to be bad. They lost 11-0 to Charlotte Eagles, who were a very, very good team. I think they're on top of the WPSL South Power rankings right now. We knew they were going to be rough. But we also know that that like sometimes teams are bad and like you still struggle to do things, or you don't take them seriously, and they can like just bite you a little bit, and like you have to control yourself. You have to control what you do, regardless of who you're playing. And so it's easy to get up for a game like Nashville, because you know they're good. And it can be harder to get up for a game like Birmingham because you know they're shit. And that's just like reality. So it was really nice to see us come out. We made one change in the lineup with Sarah King coming in to start her first game for CFC. And everything else was unchanged. We wanted the continuity. We wanted a little bit of experience. People have played together literally once, and I thought it worked really well because we were able to immediately come out and attack and just not screw around. And that's maybe the most important thing is we didn't screw around. We got 3 goals in 14 minutes, and it turned out to be that's all we were ever going to need. So I was really happy with it. There were large portions of the game between the 3rd and 4th goal in the first half, and then between the 6th and the 7th goal in the second half, where I thought that, yes, we were rotating some players in, and yes, we were, doing some different combinations, and I'm sure players were taking it a little bit easy as well. But I would have liked to have seen, for the amount of possession we have, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more quality. But it's really hard to complain when you're nitpicking about something already being up, a bunch of goals.
Absolutely. So 7-0 was a wonderful result. I don't care what you say negative about that. I'm listening to nothing else other than 7-0. All right, so let's go with the starting 11. Caroline Johnson, back for her second start in a row, and her second season of being the starter now.
Yeah.
Right wing back Bailey Dole, right center back Anna Lanter, center back Avery Catlett, left center back Avery Engels, and a left wing back KD Johnson. For anyone who doesn't know, it's KD like Kevin Durant, KD, pronounce the initials, KD. Samantha Maudsley at central defensive midfielder, central midfielder Nadia Ivanchenko, central midfielder Sarah King, forward Summer Hernandez, and forward Ava Van Dorn in a 3-5-2, the same 3-5-2 as you mentioned that we started against Nashville. On the bench, spoiler alert, everybody played. Kaylee Burrell, Addie Chapman, Lupe Diaz, Brianna Hurtado. I still don't know how to say St. Louis' first name. Sorry, I'm going to figure that out. Sage Samily, Lucy Sandhoff, Anna Silva, and Emma Webster. I got everybody's first names, and you didn't list any first names, so fuck you, Matthew. Let's just go straight to the goals, Matthew. So first of all, we were making subs immediately and quickly because we were scoring immediately and quickly, and we were able to get everybody minutes. So before we talk about any subs, and again, if you haven't seen one of these women's game reviews, there's unlimited subs, so we're only going to talk about did they sub in or did they sub out, and like if anything special happened. We're not going to talk about the exact minute they subbed in and whatever else, because keeping track of who subbed in when and out is actually impossible. Well, it's close to impossible because even if you go back on the stream, you can't always see who is subbed in and subbed out. Yeah. So that's the reality of these reviews. All right. First half, first goal, Matthew, is Katie Johnson, unassisted, off a corner. Keeper saves Johnson's initial shot, and then she follows it up. What do you have to say about this goal?
I mean, like, so number one, we come out of the gate, we earn a corner, and this is the, I think it's the first of two that come off of corners, because the second one does not. The third goal is scored off a corner as well. Just great ball in by Nadia Ivanchenko. Katie Johnson gets a foot on it, saved by the keeper, who, like, for giving up 7 goals,
was pretty darn good.
She was good. I mean, she's like 17 years old. Like, she played well. Like, she saved some shots that, like, I think a lesser keeper would have.
Honestly, like, tryouts are in February. Please come try out next year.
No kidding.
Because if you're going to grow and become better, like, Caroline's going to need a successor at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So keeper makes a good save on the first shot, but Katie sticks with it and is there for the rebound, just pokes it home, and maybe that encapsulates the story of this game. That one goal, a quality ball, a quality final ball, in. You kind of a CFC player is first on it, reacts first. Good, decent play by the goalkeeper, and CFC player is like still on it, like beats the Birmingham players like to the punch, and is able to slot it home.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in this game. There was a lot of adults versus kids, kind of.
Yeah.
You really felt the experience and the maturity and age in this. I don't know the age of most of these players, but I would guess a lot of them were in high school and a lot of them were probably freshmen in college.
Yeah, something like that.
That's certainly what felt right, and I heard that from somebody after the game. So, I don't take anything away from Birmingham. Like, look, we were in some ways this team last year. Now, I think our team last year beats this team, but not so convincingly for sure. And, some people might say, oh, well, they're kids. Like, be nicer. No. These are athletes. These are semi-professional athletes.
I mean, they chose to play in the WPSL. So
they had the privilege of playing against Chattanooga Football Club, and they were lucky to share the field with our players, and they were fortunate to do so. And getting shit on by the Chattahooligans and by
is a rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage, and they are lucky to have done so.
And I think honestly, like, if they want to grow in their careers, like this is something you get to experience that a lot of people their age will never.
At the men's and women's amateur level, there is very little of this, and we treat our women's team like they are professionals because to us they are, or are certainly of that level and of that caliber, and we're going to make sure that we, no matter what the age of the opponent, within reason, if they're playing in the same league and they're playing whatever else, we are going to make sure they feel the full force of the Chattahooligans.
We made fun of a bunch of teenagers from Charlotte last season because they were bad, and frankly, we went a whole lot worse with them than we did in this one. Like, we're going to do our thing, and we're not going to be nasty, we're not going to be mean, but like the goalkeeper is getting called a name, and it's going to be funny, and like that's just our brand. Like, that's what we
Grouchy
do.
Smurf, Tiny Smurf, whatever it is. Yeah,
you're wearing blue, you're going to be a Smurf.
Baja
like
Blast.
That's how this works.
Baja Blast. Yeah, she got several different names because there was 7 goals. All right, let's keep going on after that little side tangent there. Summer Hernandez, excuse me, I apologize. Summer Hernandez, second goal, unassisted. You have written here, it's a Bailey Dole cross, 2 failed clearances, and Summer just takes care of it.
Yeah, one girl I think heads it, kind of is trying to clear it with a header and doesn't clear it very far. Another one of her teammates tries to clear it with a foot, and it kind of just goes back a little bit towards the first girl that cleared it. And Summer's just right there and just gets a little header on it and puts it in the right spot. And sometimes they sneak in 2-0.
Yeah, let's go straight into the third goal. It's Summer Hernandez again for the second time in a row. It's a corner, and it's a right-footed finish. So she has a header so far and a right-footed finish, very similar to. So our goal against Nashville to tie it up is a all the way across right-footed finish, which by St. Louis, which is not that different from at least the play that Katie Johnson.
This is
Katie Johnson puts on target, and then the Summer Hernandez is a closer ball to the front post as opposed to the back post, but it is still a good ball delivered in on a corner that finds
a foot finish.
A foot finish, and she finishes with her right foot near post.
Yeah, if you're not going to mark Summer Hernandez on a corner like you're asking to get scored on, and props to Nadia for placing a great ball.
A dime.
And Summer finishes it, and it's 3-0. And this is the part where, after we scored the third goal, it really felt like kind of the air went out of the building, and part of that I think was we took the air out of the building, and just like we probed a little bit, there were still some long shots that were taken, and it's how we got the pull thing going. I thought we also settled for some shots we probably shouldn't have, especially on rewatch. In the moment, I thought it was awesome. On rewatch, when I was a little bit more sober, there was definitely some moments where we were not as sharp as I would have liked to have been. That's also part of it when you go up 3-0 and you're having fun and
it's your second game of the season
and the vibes are really good. Like sometimes you just take some shots. And look, like a couple of them were pretty nasty and forced the keeper into making some saves.
And Ava Van Doren scored one of them. So
yeah, and in the second half, we'll get there. So the fourth goal comes in about the 41st-ish minute, somewhere in there. And it's a really, really nice play from an academy product.
Yeah, talk me through that, Matthew.
So Addie Chapman, who is like a 2006, is how I think they refer to academy players. She's fairly young. I guess it was in the 43rd minute because I'm looking at it on the screen. She just, there's a Birmingham player with the ball, and she tries to play a little square ball to one of her teammates, and Addie just steps across her to intercept the pass, then steps back across to get past her on the dribble, and then slides a nice little ball into the streaking Kristen St. Louis, and St. Louis does strikership, bangs the thing into the bottom left corner. It's 4-0. It was a really nice capper on the first half to get another goal there after 30 minutes or whatever it was, with not a ton of action, and a great moment for an academy player to get an assist.
Shout out to St. Louis for the second game in a row coming down and playing Helga. She came down on, I believe, on Wednesday, and she also came down. Definitely on Wednesday
after the men's game, or after the women's game.
And nice. She came down on
I didn't know that.
Both games. So came down and just hung out for a brief moment, played Helga for a brief moment.
That's fantastic.
And she came all by herself on Wednesday. She just showed up in the middle of the section, and I think I might have been the only one to recognize her. Some other people may have recognized her, but they weren't saying anything, probably to be respectful. I don't know, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Very nice.
And I love that. It's good vibes. It's good vibes all around. So that concludes the first half. We're up 4-0. And here's, I think, something that you said earlier, or I agree with that you were going towards, which is at halftime, winning 4-0, we could have very much packed it up and not really stayed sharp enough to score again. We could have easily finished that game 4-0. And when we were up 3-0 for about 10 or 15 minutes and it was only 3-0, I had the thought in the back of my head, boy, I hope we can keep the gas on, because you want the players to score more, you want them to have more experience, but also you want to get that goal difference. And it was also explained to me that perhaps goal difference, and I explained this to me after the game, goal difference may not matter after 4. She doesn't know. She thinks that the goal difference may cap at 4 per game for competitive standings. I don't know if that's true or not. She didn't actually know for sure, but I think she said something about that. Maybe that's how it works in college, or anyway, that she cast some doubt there into my mind of whether we had to score 11 like Charlotte did. But point being is we scored 7, and one of the reasons we scored 7 is because while we may have not been as sharp as you would like us to be in certain instances, Matthew, to score 15 goals, we kept the intensity up. And we took care of business, and we scored 3 more in the second half, starting out with Summer Hernandez.
Yeah, so let's point out that
we came out of halftime flying.
We had gone on this bit of a kind of a dry spell or whatever in the first half. Got one more at the end of the first half, and then we came out in the second half and just immediately went back to work again.
The way we came out in the first half,
which is really, really good. So.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with that. I'm happy about the mentality show yesterday.
It's simple things.
Yesterday,
but that fifth goal comes from Bailey Dole just stepping up, the right wing back. And let's be honest here, we were playing. I would say it was more akin to a 3-1-4-2, with your wing backs
pushed way far forward,
truly being attacking midfielders that were wingers at that point.
What did Randy tell us on the podcast? It depends.
Yeah.
What are fullbacks or what are wingbacks rather in a 5-3-2? It depends. Or a 3-5-2? It depends. Or a 3-3-5, like what are they?
So that they've got Birmingham,
3-3-5 can't be a thing, Andrew. Anyway, math's hard. Keep going.
just plays it in, and Bailey Dole just picks the pocket of an unsuspecting defender with her back to Bailey, slides it over to Summer Hernandez, who just puts the ball on her left foot, turns a big curling.
Is Summer left-footed?
No, that's a beauty of a shot.
And you know what that is? That's a headed goal, a right-footed goal, and a left-footed. What do we call that?
That's a perfect hat trick.
It's a perfect hat trick, baby. Not to be confused with the John Terry hat trick, which is an own goal, a goal scored, and a red card.
Yeah. So I thought she did it was a sweet finish. It was great play from Bailey to set the thing up. And then just a few minutes later, we've got kind of an attacking wave here. Ball gets played in, I think, by Anna Lanter, is headed out or cleared out again. And Katie Johnson picks up the clearance.
She did a lot of that.
Settles it and immediately passes it up to Ava Van Doren, who just like kind of receives the ball really, really well, like setting up her next steps. Takes that dribble on the next step and maybe two dribbles, and sees a little gap and just fires the thing into the top corner. Magnificent goal from Ava Van Doren, and it's 6-0.
I love it. Give me number 7.
So number 7 comes all the way in like the 87th, 88th minute, something like that. And the play is for the next, if Ava Van Doren's goal came in the 50th, 51st, 52nd minute, somewhere in there, things are honestly pretty darn quiet. Like we're taking some shots here or there. Keeper makes a save here or there. A lot of subs, a lot of new players, which is really, really nice to see. But not like you're up 7 goals already, or 6 goals, not a ton of action, which I think speaks to what I said about, wanting to get a little bit more, and like things went into a bit of a lull for a while. But Sage Samole just picks up a ball on the left side of the field and just dribbles it beats her defender, dribbles it into the box, and that defender's still chasing and just brings her down. And it's just one of those penalties, like referee does not want to give that, but like you can't do that. Like that. Like,
the referee
he's almost like I'm sorry, but like I have to blow my whistle here. I really don't want to.
We several times did mercy rule and mercy call chants during that game, and there were a bunch of them. To be fair, like I think the referee was like not being like, I don't know, not being inappropriate, but definitely like if it was a 50-50 and because we were absolutely murdering them, like he was nice enough to them, and the 50-50 calls they got all of them pretty much.
Yeah,
and
there weren't really many of them in general.
Correct, and I'll also say, like, had we been the team that was down and we had gotten I would have felt better about us getting the 50-50 calls if we're down. So like I don't have a problem with that. We're absolutely like dominating that game, but that was one of those where the referee kind of like had to.
It's like one of those things,
had
like
to intervene.
Like if he doesn't call a penalty there, like you've got to wonder if he's got action on the game offshore.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk to me about the penalty?
It's a cracker. It is an absolute cracker of a finish. Like off the post, like nobody's saving that. I don't know if Sean Antoine's saving that.
Not a chance. Manuel Neuer isn't saving that. But she kissed it high and off the inside of the post. Like
it's filthy.
It is absolutely filthy. Unless the goalkeeper is standing on that side of the goal, they're not getting there.
Yeah,
it was fantastic and wonderful, and that summed up all 7 goals. Did Caroline have a save in this game?
No. Caroline had one touch in her 45 minutes of work. One touch.
I think Lucy had one ball she scooped up that came through.
Lucy, we will put Lucy down for a tackle because it was not like a sweeper keeper clearance. Like it was an actual, the Birmingham player was there first. It was a tackle.
It was awesome.
And it was a great play.
It was a great play.
No, Caroline got a touch. One touch in the first half. It was about 35 yards from her goal. And
was it sweeper keeper? I don't remember this, to be clear.
No, it was just keeping possession.
Sweet.
That's all it was. I think it was a Birmingham player that like played it behind, just into space basically, and it was just Caroline that came up to like bump it back to the to the center back line, and that was literally her only involvement of the day.
Addie Chapman is an 06. Who's the other 06?
Brady Livingston, who was not in the.
I don't believe Brady was in the
today.
20. So Brady did not get her debut, but Addie did, which is very, very cool, and an assist. I know we talked about that, so I'm very, very excited about that.
Also, I think Emma Webster is like an 06 or pretty close to it. I'm gonna pull that up actually real quick.
Yeah, she's in her. I think she just finished her freshman year.
Webster's an 04. My bad.
Yeah, 03, 04, I think. Or she maybe just finished her sophomore year, because I remember doing the research for her initially. But she is also pretty young. It was wonderful to see all of these players get in and get some minutes, because to be fair, the rest of the season, I'm not suggesting Addie Chapman is or isn't going to play, but as an academy player, it can be sometimes that, like in that Nashville game, academy players weren't likely to get any minutes. And we don't know how the rest of the season is going to go and how those minutes are going to go, but it's really cool that game 2 of the season, they were rewarded. All of these players were rewarded for their dedication and their practicing and their showing up already, because they were all able to get, everybody played at least 5 or 10 minutes. Instead of just, it wasn't like Addie got a 2-minute cameo at the end, right? She got, I don't know how many minutes, because we didn't keep track of those, but she got a significant enough amount of minutes that she was able to get an assist and play, which is just really cool.
And it wasn't like second half garbage time either.
No.
It was a plan. There's the Ava Van Doren goal.
That was such a banger.
She got time in the first half too, which was really, really nice to see. And like as you mentioned, and this is kind of, I think it's one of my keys or takeaways or whatever. I'll just do my third one. Like, we have a women's match on Friday on the road at Knoxville. We have a men's match on Saturday at Maryland, and then a women's match on Sunday in the Atlanta area.
And you, like a dum-dum, are gone for a bachelor party.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss all 3 of those. But like the point is, like that's a Friday Sunday swing for the women.
Tough.
One in Knoxville, one in Atlanta, and it'll be interesting to see with a 25 or so, whatever it is, players on the roster. It'll be interesting to see how many, what if the game day lineup on those 2 days is the same or if it's different. And like we think 865 Alliance, the Knoxville team, we know they're fairly similar to the Knoxville Force from last year or Tennessee Force from last year.
It's the same team.
So like it's going to be,
it may not be all the same players, but it's the same team.
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a really good test to see where we are. Obviously, we had one against Nashville. It was a really good test. Yeah. I don't think we truthfully can learn a lot from Birmingham, like about where we are. Like, we're better than Birmingham. Okay. Like, that doesn't tell us like where we are, like in relation to a lot of these other teams where we want to be. So, and I know nothing about the team we're playing on Sunday, the Atlanta Fire, Georgia Fire, whatever they are team. So it's a good opportunity. If you think about it, 8-game regular season, we have played a quarter of the regular season so far. We will play a quarter of the regular season in one weekend, which will put us halfway through the season. And I won't belabor the point about how it's too short. But like a lot's about to happen now. And so like the depth from an 06 like Chapman or from an 04 like Webster, like this is important. And I will also mention, we've still got a couple players we haven't seen yet that are just arriving into the fold, including this weekend, in Serena Lewis, Victoria Grant, and Grace Parker Roberts, who I assume we will see starting this coming weekend. So there's still a lot going on here. And it'll be really important for that depth to matter.
Interesting we didn't see Grace. That'll be interesting, because both you and I think she could be a starter. We're not sure. It could be a starter and could shake things up potentially. And she's been here a week, so I would have kind of expected to see her. But I did ask her when I saw her. I did not see her at this game. I saw her previously at the after the men's game.
Maybe after the men's game, yeah.
After the men's game on Wednesday with Caroline. Yeah, that's correct. And I asked her if she was, fully practicing with whatever, with injury and whatever. I think she said yes. That's what I think. She did say yes. So interesting. I'm not making judgments off that. Just interested. I didn't think about having not seen her until you just mentioned that.
Yeah. So my first point or key takeaway here, the 3 goals in 14 minutes was really important. And I mentioned this before, but I want to say it again. Like, when you play against a bad team, you have to put the bad team away. You don't give them hope. You don't give them life. You do your job, and it's not necessarily even for the team result, which was probably coming no matter what, whether we scored 3 in the first 14 or not. But you do it because you need we just talked about how depth matters, right? You need to allow those younger players that need a little bit of experience, that need to get their first one at Finley Stadium out of the way. You want to make sure those players get an opportunity in a game like this where the result's not in question, so that if they are called upon later in the season in a game they are actually needed in, that they've got their first one out of the way. They've been on the field. They know what's expected. They've had some feedback be able to be given to them by this point in time, and their nerves are settled. And so it was really nice to see the starting group get out in front and just get the job done, and set up all the rotation and set up all the other things. Really nice to see St. Louis get another goal. Obviously, Summer get on the score sheet again for CFC women.
With a perfect hat trick.
Yeah, I mean, like, also nice to see our other. If you think about like having really 4 forwards, Hernandez, Van Doren, St. Louis, and Kaylee Burrell, this is the game where our actual 2 starting forwards, at least the first 2 games, how now both gotten on the score sheet. Like, that's also something you like to see.
I think it's easy to look at.
Katie Johnson as well getting on the score sheet.
You have 2 games so far, and all 4 of our forwards have scored.
Yeah,
in the 2 games. It's good stuff. Plus other players.
It's very good stuff. And my last point, and I think I actually mentioned it earlier, is you can't learn a lot from this game. You really can't. Like, Birmingham, and with no disrespect to them, but they're not at a level that you can truly learn much about yourself and like what your team can do. What you can learn is the mentality of your team. And I thought that was really, really good from us. That we went out there, we were professional about what was in front of us, that we took care of business, we didn't screw around, and we got the job done. And I think that's going to bode well going forward. And it is, at least for this one game, that's what you want to see from your group.
I agree. So first, damn allergies. I hate doubleheaders. But if we're gonna win 7-0, Matthew, I'm fucking in. Like, let's go. I will sign up for that every single time. Although, and I'm not as tired as I was last year. I was smarter, and the weather was a little bit nicer.
Yeah, weather was nicer, and I think everyone was prepared this time. And
yeah. But I was laying on the grass leading up to that game, just making sure I was getting as rested as possible. But again, if we can guarantee wins of 5 or more goals for the women, if we can just schedule the powder puffs on double header game days, I'm fucking in. Number 2, I said this already, but adults versus kids, the experience was palpable. That's good shit, because it came through exactly how it should have. There was no letting us down on that one, and letting themselves down on that one. Last year's team would have won, I believe, as I said earlier, but I don't think we would have. I don't think. I really believe we wouldn't have dominated like that. And it was good to see us maintain the level, because we saw the level that we played against Nashville, against the best team, and we maintained not the exact same performance, but a good enough performance to feel good about it against Birmingham, who's kind of the bottom of the table. So we've seen the top of the table, we've seen the bottom of the table essentially, and now we've seen that probably our place in there is closer to the top than it is the bottom. Hopefully, it's only 2 games, but I am making some bold statements there. Number 3, as you said, it's very, very similar to what you said. This was a great team building game. 7-0 is a great mentality versus 3-1, and there's a world in which you just start lollygagging around because the other team isn't that good, and so you don't take it seriously, and you let a sneaky one get in, and it's 3-1. And finishing this game 3-1 would have been a hell of a disappointment, and finishing 7-0 felt good. And I want to see that mentality. I like that mentality. I like that maturity. I know 2 of mine were about maturity, but and I will add on to that something that you said here as well that I agree with 100%. We're going to need a lot of depth for this weekend, and this was incredibly important to get those players in and get them to have their chance playing. All of these players made their debut either last game or this game, so everybody that was on the roster for this game got to play, and they're not going to get their first minutes against Atlanta or against Knoxville. Somebody may, but of the players that got minutes, most of them at least got that, they got that first taste of the game. They got the first taste of the WPSL level, and they got to play in front of fans and get some of those jitters out. So very, very good coaching from Randy, unsurprisingly, and very good play, unsurprisingly, from our team that we saw last week is a lot better than last year. So very happy about all of that. Can't wait for this weekend. If you're thinking about going this weekend, y'all pull the trigger, do it. Get on wherever you want to go. Pick Nashville, pick Atlanta. I'm sorry, pick Knoxville, pick Atlanta, or pick two of them, pick both of them, because the option to go to both of those games that's in driving distance is phenomenal. It's going to be a blast. If you did Tuscaloosa for the men, or if you did, if you're planning on doing Savannah or Orlando for the men, like think about doing one of these for the women, because it's fucking awesome. We're going to take over those stadiums. It's going to be like the old NPSL where they do not know what is coming. They are confused, and man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
So something interesting to watch is...
Yeah, I saw you Googling furiously over there. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I just wanted to look at... because there are like 9 teams in the conference, because not everyone plays everybody, and because things are just a little bit like lopsided or whatever, I wanted to get an idea for what 865 Alliance and what Atlanta Fire had done results-wise before we played them this weekend. And it turns out neither of them actually have played a match yet.
Yeah, we're the first of both of theirs.
We're the first for both of them.
By the way, that's good for us.
Atlanta Fire was supposed to play against Soda City on, I think, Sunday the 21st. And that game was postponed for like rain-soaked conditions or whatever. So, it'll be interesting to play against a team that hasn't played anyone yet. After we've already played 2 games, I hope that bodes well for us. We'll just have to see. I just thought it was interesting.
I definitely think that's interesting. I think that actually bodes well for us scheduling wise. I've complained on this podcast about how bad the scheduling is, but for playing somebody on their very first game of the season, that's good because we have some experience coming in. It's a slight advantage for us. I will also point out really quickly, and I won't dwell on this. 2 players have left the team. We are down 2 from our original 29. We were at 27. But
27 to 25.
Sorry, 27 25. Excuse me. I apologize. All I want to say about that is I don't want to worry about who's not here. I want to worry about who's here and who's committed to the cause. So thank you for your 1 game of service, some of you, and thanks for nothing for leaving. I hope it's not. I mean, I'm assuming that like it's a. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say thanks for nothing. I wish you were able to be committed to the cause. Hopefully there's no personal things that are going on, but from my understanding, there's no like emergency leaving. There was a choice that some players made to leave. So anyway,
this is also one of the reasons why you build a bigger roster.
Bigger roster, right?
And for summer amateur, like things happen.
So look, if I'm wrong and there's some like big personal thing, then I take that back. But if you just decided to commit your summer to Chattanooga Football Club and then you said, nah, just kidding, not worth it, that's your fault. That's your loss. Joke's on you. Thanks for nothing. Yeah, so anyway, I'm very happy with the group we have here. I'm really excited for the next 2 games. And Matthew, I think come middle of next week, we're really going to know where we stand. We've seen the top of the division, theoretically. We haven't seen Charlotte, but we've seen Nashville. We've seen the bottom in Birmingham. And I don't know where Atlanta is supposed to fall, but Knoxville should be somewhere in the top middle of that based on last year. So if we can get 6 points as an example, or 3-1, depending on how things go, we'll have a much better, or I mean, things could also go sideways, I guess, but we'll have a much better idea of where we stand after these 2 games. So anything left that we need to go over and talk about before we let the listeners go?
No, I just want to say, like, there's a road game in Knoxville. There's a road game in wherever Pinecrest Academy is in the Atlanta area. Those are close. Those are closer than the nearest men's away games this year.
Yep.
This is one of the reasons why
it's closer than the airport to go to the men's games.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why like women's football is so fun and exciting as a supporter is because the games are close and because you can be there on the road with like 7 parents and then a bunch of hooligans. Like it is absolutely one of the best experiences to have as a supporter. And I'm a little bummed I'm going to be missing all 3 games this weekend at this bachelor party. And that's going to make my job when I get back into town incredibly difficult to catch up for these game recaps.
Yes.
But we'll find a way.
It's going to be, and we'll see if there are streams and all the other things. But
yeah, that's the thing. We can't guarantee that I will see these games because the only way you can guarantee to watch the games is if you're there.
And by the way, that's the same in Nisa we found out last weekend.
Yeah.
Listeners, viewers, thank you for hanging out with us. If you're listening on a podcast app and you would give us a 5-star review, we would really appreciate it. And if you're watching on YouTube, we would love it if you left us a comment. Thank you for watching. Catch up with you next week. Peace.